Hello guys, welcome back to 90 minutes of Shenanigans. You may be wondering, where is Daniel? The truth is he doesn't give two shits. No. Um, the truth is I texted him saying, listen, Ireland are playing tonight. We didn't get to discuss Ireland and the Stephen Kenny situation, so today I'm making a separate vid aside from the podcast, just on the Ireland's situation at the moment, the national team situation. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you're a big Boys in Green fan like I am, please stay to the end, watch to the end, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, if you have your own opinion about the setup and what's going on at the moment with the national team, please leave it down below. I'd love to read from you guys. So yeah, let's get into it. Look, Ireland are playing Greece, Gibraltar, and then in November I think against Holland. Three games that we have to win. If we don't win any of those games, we have to get 9 points of nine, or else we're out. Yet for some reason, somehow, we still have a small chance of getting into the getting qualifying through the Nations League, which I don't understand because our performances in the Nations League are terrible. Like, we're really bad in the Nations League, but yet UEFA still wants to give us like a second chance, and the Nations League is so confusing. I can't get it through my head what's going on with that. But yeah, listen. I don't have high expectations for the result. I think, given the fact that we need to win and it's at home, we might get a result. But in terms of the qualification, I don't think. I think that's it. But mainly, what I wanted to talk about today was I wanted to give my opinion on the whole Stephen Kenny in, Stephen Kenny out situation. Listen, being totally honest, I'm a pro Stephen Kenny supporter. I'm in Stephen Kenny's corner. I think the majority of fans, hmm, that's a. I think the majority of fans are Stephen Kenny supporters, but I think there's a loud minority that want him out, and I think that's a bit of an issue, and I want to discuss that today. Listen, there's this idea that Stephen Kenny needs to go, and he needs to go because he's not getting any results, which on its own sounds fine. Like, no, he's not getting results. Okay, he needs to go. Let's get a new manager. But there's this idea, and I want to explore this a bit today. There's this idea that Ireland have this. Well, at least this is what I think. But Ireland have this divine right to qualify for every major tournament, the Euros and the World Cup. And I just can't really understand it, because I don't know if people are still reminiscing about the days of the Roy Keanes, the Robbie Keanes, the Duffs in the 90s with Jack Charles, all the success that we had, and the Liam Brady's of the world and all that. But people, and then also the fact that I think also a lot of Irish fans are big Premier League fans, and they watch the likes of Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, and I feel like they place the same expectations of success on those clubs with this Irish team, whereas that is not comparable at all, and not comparable to any other Irish team in the past, because this Irish team does not have the quality to qualify for these tournaments, and there's this deflation that we're not going to qualify because we're probably not going to qualify for this tournament. But at the end of the day, we were put in a terrible group. Like, we're talking about Greece, Holland, and France. Like, we were never set up to qualify for this tournament, but people are like, get him out, get Stephen Kenny out, and it's like, hold on a second, like, give the man a break. Like, you know, the guy is having us play good football against the best teams. We're no longer playing the way we played under Trapattoni, Martin O'Neill, and Mick McCarthy, and it's better viewing. Okay, are the results not what we want them to be? Yes, they're not. They're not. He's not been a successful manager in that regard, in the results business. But what he has been successful in is playing better football. It's more appealing on the eye, and he's setting up is something that needs to keep going in terms of the style we play, because we need to ingrain this Irish team into that style of play, into a positive style of play, because for too long Ireland as a team has been backwards. We've been playing very, very old traditional defensive style football, and it has never been pleasing on the eye. Yes, under Trapattoni and yes, under Martin O'Neill, did we get somewhere? Yes, we qualified for one tournament on each campaign, and you could argue Trapattoni was one of the more successful managers that we had because we got to a playoff and in the for the World Cup and all. But at the end of the day, they never led anywhere because in the Euros for Trapattoni, we were drawn against very difficult teams and we got outclassed playing that way. And yes, we didn't have the players either. And then Martin O'Neill, we just qualified. It was a great tournament, in terms of fanship and everything, and it was great to see. But we barely qualified, and we got lucky with the third place finish in the group, and that somehow allowed us to qualify into the second round. But those eras always ended up in turmoil, and they always got the sack in pretty dramatic fashion because the results never led anywhere. Those managers are short term, quick fix managers, and the problem with that is they don't build us up, they don't set us up for the future. Whereas people don't realise, I feel like with Stephen Kenny, we are being set up for the future. Yes, are we not qualifying? Yes. But we're playing a style of football that if we keep going with it, it will get better. It will get better. And thanks to Stephen Kenny, he has brought you a lot of young players. And if we have a bit of patience, if we can wait a few more tournaments, things will start changing. Things will start changing. We're in an era where, because of Brexit, our players are staying in the League of Ireland for longer. They're developing, they're playing first team football, and they're not at 14 going to England for getting allured by a massive club and then ending up in Yeovil Town. Do you know? But my point is, we're in an era where that is changing now. Players are going to Spain, they're going to Italy, they're playing international football. They're getting used to different styles, and that can only be a good thing for this team, because the better we can play that style of football, the better we can match up against those teams. Because Ireland has always had a big issue with the smaller teams that play good football, and we find it very hard to break them down. But eventually that's not going to be the case if we can match them with their play, and we can build our tactical nous. And I believe that's what will happen over time with Stephen Kenny. And back to my point, people think that Stephen Kenny, because he hasn't qualified or anything yet, and in terms of results, he hasn't been successful. I think people need to take a step back and realise who we are. We are not Spain. We are not Italy, we are not Germany, we're none of those teams at the moment. But we don't have this divine right to qualify for every tournament. People put those expectations that we didn't qualify. Well, of course we didn't qualify. We have France and Holland in the group. Look at our team, where it's built of Championship and League One players. Of course not. Stop putting those expectations on the team. And I think we have to wait, and things will get better. Because Stephen Kenny has brought you so many young players. Eventually, those players, and with the way things have gone with Brexit and everything, and because our players are exposed to more first team football in Europe or in the League of Ireland, that's going to benefit them, which I believe will lead to more success down the line. But not now. Not now. We need to wait. But we have this expectation, that we have this idea that we need to qualify, and if we don't qualify, we're shit, get rid of the manager. Here's my question: who do we replace Stephen Kenny with? People, all these Stephen Kenny out, Stephen Kenny out, Stephen Kenny out people online. Who do you replace him? Chris Hughton. Chris Hughton's just bringing us back to the Martin O'Neill days. What Chris Hughton would do is he would pick the players that he wants to play, that suit his style of play, and usually and they most likely won't be young players that are able to spread the ball and are more positive looking players. He'll be looking for strong, hard spirited type players that will get those results. And what will happen is the younger players will be shoved aside, and when he eventually leaves, we're back to square one. and we have to rebuild. Whereas my point is that if we stick with Stephen Kenny, eventually those players will develop, and I feel like we will find success. You know, if there was a better replacement for Stephen Kenny that was a positive, was positive in his style of play, I would accept that. But there isn't. You have maybe Lee Carsley, but I don't think he's going to take the job. I don't think he would take the job. But all I'm saying is, people are quick to forget the what happened, the style of play and how much we were complaining under the Martin O'Neill and the Giovanni Trapattoni eras. And we want them back now. We want, like, come back, come on. We need those results. It's like, at what cost? At what cost? Because it's a horrible watch, and we're in this era that we're in now. We're seeing a lot of young players develop, and I think that's only going to be good. It's only going to be good because young players is going to go somewhere. Older players like the Daryl Murphys of the world, that's not going anywhere. Stephen Kenny, I believe, needs to stay. He needs to be given a few tournaments. Like, Rome wasn't built in a day. Rome wasn't built in a day. Give the man time. Yes, we're not getting results at the moment. But of course we're not getting results at the moment. We don't have the players yet. But if you give it time and are patient and realise we're a developing country when it comes to football. We've been playing backwards for many, many years. For the majority, in the last 30 years, we've been playing negative football. We need to develop that positive play. We need to develop more years. We need to build more years of positivity in terms of our football in order to get to those places where the likes of Belgium and Holland are able to play good football, and they're smaller nations and they qualify. We will get there, but we have to be patient. We have to sacrifice the short term for the long term, not the other way around. Not the other way around. I could not bear another Giovanni Trapattoni or Martin O'Neill era. Do I want us to qualify? Of course I do. Of course I do. But I want us to qualify and know that we might actually get results. We might actually get results because we play good football. We have a young team that are strong, that are powerful, and that are ambitious. Not an old team that the legs will be run off them as soon as they play a good team, and eventually after 0-0s and a couple of 1-1s and a couple of maybe 1-0s, we get dismantled by a great team, because people forget that under the Martin O'Neill and the Giovanni Trapattoni we got results, but it always led to a destruction by one team. I'm thinking of Germany, it was a 6-1. I'm thinking of Denmark, 5-1. We just collapse. We get results, and then at the big moments we collapse because our style of play is limited and we can't progress. We don't, and those managers don't instill confidence. They don't. That's what I love about Ange Postecoglou. I know I'm going on a tangent here, but as Ange Postecoglou with Spurs, he wants his players to express themselves, and the blame is on him if they lose the ball. That's what we need, and I think Stephen Kenny can get that. Stephen Kenny's a very positive manager, and he wants to build for the future with this team. Let's go with him. Let's go. Like, let's not revert back to the Chris Hughton Chris Hughton type manager. Because if we do that, I promise you now, if we do that, we will be back to square one, and we'll do more damage than good, because we might qualify for one tournament, but then we'll spend another 15 years or 16 years without another tournament, and I don't want that. I would rather sacrifice the now to get to more consistent tournaments when we have better players and when we've developed better players. Patience is key. So hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments. If you don't agree with me, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinion. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. And come on, you boys, agree. Yup.